It's no secret. Your brother did not want to go into the WWE Hall of Fame by himself. He wanted to go in as the Poffo family, including you and your father, Angelo. WWE never allowed that to happen, and sadly for everyone, he wasn't inducted while alive. A couple years after he passed on, you went against your brother's wishes and you inducted him anyway. What was your thought process behind that, and how was it reconnecting with WWE at the time?
Okay, let's say it was about a year before my father finally passed away. It was April 10th, um, 2009. That was his birthday, and it was a year before because he lived almost a year longer. It was his 84th birthday. And, oh, my brother and I got into an argument. Guess who always wins? He won his 1 millionth argument in a row from me.
Anyone who's a younger brother can relate to that.
Yes, he was 2 years older, and he said, "Yeah, we got to take Dad out for his birthday." His favorite restaurant for some reason was Olive Garden, which is Italian without really being Italian. Okay,
We can't knock Olive Garden. I've enjoyed a few meals there in the past.
I think they're pretty great. They get a bad rap, but the thing is,
I'd like to talk to those
here's
people that give them a bad rap.
okay. We'll do that next
Next
show.
show.
Anyway, my point is, I said, Dad can't be in public. He hasn't been out of the house. He's not doing well. He's not doing well. He said, well, we got to do this for Dad for it's his birthday. I said, well, rather than argue, I said, okay, fine. Even though I didn't think, and sure enough, we got out there and my dad could barely hang on to the conversation. He wasn't even enjoying himself. He was miserable. He shouldn't have been in public. And then my brother says, how do you like that? They're putting the entire Von Erich family in the Hall of Fame. He says, I can understand, Fritz and Kevin and Kerry and David, but my God, can you imagine that? Mike and Chris in the Hall of Fame? Holy shit. How bad is it? He says, Lou Fez isn't even in the Hall of Fame. And his point is, if the Von Erichs can get in the Hall of Fame, then why not the Poffos? And then he looked at me and he says, Lanny, you suck, but you're better than Chris. And there was we laughed, because and believe it or not, that's the kind of humor that I miss the most. He knew I enjoyed that. For some reason, that's how he showed his love. He did it in such a way that was fantastic. He had personality, something that's lacking in a lot of people. So, anyway, after my father passes away, he got drunk on his ass, and he invited me over to his house. You got to come over and talk to me. And he says, you were a better son than I was. And I said, no, I wasn't. Yes, you were. I said, in what way was I a better son than you were? He says, I couldn't get Dad into that battle royal. I said, he knew that you had no power to do that. In 1987, with all the angry people around, you know what I'm saying? You can't, he had, let's say, you can't, anyway, I can't believe he still was holding that with him. So, anyway, he says, if anything happens to me, don't let them put me in the Hall of Fame unless it's the Poffo family. He says, it's Lanny, Randy, and Angelo. And that's the only way I go in. If anything happens to me, you got to remember that. And he said it to my mother 100 times. My brother can keep talking after he made his point. And you'll find so can I, okay? So, sure enough, after my brother passes away, they're getting ready to have WrestleMania in Miami, and I get a phone call from John Laurinaitis. And he was really nice, but he didn't say the magic words, I'm sorry for your loss. As a matter of fact, if it wasn't for Howard Finkel, nobody did.
Wow.
See what I mean?
That's terrible.
Well, I'm sorry, but we're dealing in the truth as I know it. We've already heard the truth as other people know it. So, anyway, my point is, I said, well, my brother's wishes were to go in as the Poffo family, Angelo, Randy, and Lanny. He says if they don't go in that way, he doesn't go in. So I was staunch. So evidently that got over like a fart in a spacesuit. Nobody really,
Nobody bid on that
called me.
idea.
Nobody bid on that idea. So then I had an epiphany. My 59th birthday, I said to myself, my God, I am the older brother now. And I thought about all the times that my wishes were not met, that I didn't get my way. And it was Marsha, 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 except it was macho, macho, macho. So I said, well,
Little Brady Bunch reference right there.
it's the story
Of a lovely lady.
Yes. Anyway, it was very popular. The song was better than the show, actually.
Hey, don't knock the show. Cindy was my first crush.
Okay, let's not knock the show. So I told my mom, I said, you know what? I'm the older brother now, and I have to put Randy in the Hall of Fame. She says, absolutely not. His wishes were this and that, and you know very well you can't do that because this were his wishes. And I said, you want to hear about all the wishes that I had that didn't come true because I wasn't the older brother? And then I said, look, I am the oldest now, and I've got you outnumbered. It's just you and I are the only ones left. So I'm going to do it. Do you love me or not? And I knew the reason I did it was correct. I didn't do it for the WWE. I didn't do it for the Macho Man. He was happier not being in the Hall of Fame. He was more famous by not being in the Hall of Fame than by being in it. Just like Pete Rose was famous for not being in the Baseball Hall of Fame, although he got in the WWE Hall of Fame. And now they've got Barry Bonds and all these steroid people that can't get in the Baseball Hall of Fame. What's more important, the promoter, the wrestler? Neither one. It's the fan. Without the fan, the sport doesn't exist. Without the fan, nobody exists. If it wasn't for the wrestling fan, there wouldn't be a sport. If it wasn't for demand, there wouldn't be supply. So, look at Bruno Sammartino. By the time he got in the Hall of Fame, all his fans were either dead or too old to enjoy it. And let's not let this happen to Randy. His fans have suffered enough. So I said, nope, I got to put him in the Hall of Fame. I tried to give him his wishes, but I can't do that. They don't want that. Okay? So I got a call from Mark Carano. And he said, can you come to New Orleans and WrestleMania? Because we've got a WWE network that's going to be launching, and we'd like to have you on there. And I said, yes, and by the way, I've changed my mind about Randy. I want him in the Hall of Fame. Oh my God. Okay, I'll call you back. So he hangs up, and about an hour later, he says, okay, here's the deal, but kayfabe. Does anybody remember that word?
I think some of our listeners might.
It's dead now. Yes, but it's a word that used to mean something.
Not much anymore.
He says, kayfabe, don't say anything, please. He said, we only do one posthumous inductee per year, and this year it is Paul Bearer. And next year in San Jose, we'll put Randy in there. But that means we got to keep it quiet for a whole year. Well, I kept it quiet, but they leaked it. So, I knew a lot better about kayfabe than they did. And when I got there, Pat Patterson gave me that quasi-apology. My God, if you want to apologize, don't deny it. If you're going to deny it, don't apologize. And in the meantime, I wasn't there to see Pat. I was there to give my speech and go home. And I didn't want anything to do with anything else. So I did it. I did it for the fans. And now I'm going to ask you, what would you have done?
I probably would have done the same thing you did. Waited a few years, holding on to your brother's wishes. And then as time goes on, realizing that actually it's something that's bigger than you, Randy, your family, and anything else, and that it's what the fans deserve. I think you made the right choice.
Okay, well, thank you very much, but I'll tell you something. This is like hard for me to talk about because, I had to weigh it out. But I used the wisdom of Spock in Star Trek. And he said, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one. One macho man, millions of macho fans. I don't think we have an argument here. He meant so much to so many, and it was the fans that gave him the lifestyle of a star. So why can't we just honor the fans' memory of the Macho Man? Now, people told me it was a good speech, and I said thank you, but you know what I said to myself? It wasn't a good speech. The speech that should have been done, it should have been delivered by the Macho Man himself. They should have done it. They should have done it when he was alive. He should have had one last, ooh, yeah. It should have, can't you imagine how fun that would have been? But woe to the people that kept him out of the Hall of Fame for so long.
I have goosebumps thinking about what his speech would have been like.
It would have been a hell of a lot better than mine, I'll tell you that much.
Well, you did a fantastic job, honestly.
Yeah, I did a good job, but I couldn't do the one thing the people wanted. I couldn't morph into the Macho Man. I could only say what it was like for me to have him as a brother and for the fans to have him as a star.
And you did a good job of that. What are your thoughts on Martha Hart, Owen's widow, keeping him out of the WWE Hall of Fame?
Well, I'd rather not say on one hand, and on the other hand, I think she's being ridiculous. I think Owen Hart needs to be in the Hall of Fame, for sure. And stop being, obtuse and just get out there and let the fans have a little fun. It's all about entertainment, right? Well, let the fans have some fun then. He gave his life to the business. I hate to say it, but he really did. I mean, of all the people that gave their lives to the business, I think Bruiser Brody and Owen Hart are the only two I can think of.
No, Brody, absolutely tragic. That happened in the showers after the show. But off the top of my head, I could think of Misawa, Mike DiBiase, as well as Pero Aguayo Jr., which is one of the more recent ones.
I guess Ricky Dozan was another. I don't know. But this is in the ancient past in Japan. So my point is, yeah, let him in the Hall of Fame. You know what? It's for the fans, stupid.
Oh, yeah!